If you were parented in the 80s and you are doing parenting in the 20s, definitely you know that there is a huge gap between these two kind of parenting. I will start by saying, if you were born in the 80s, you will understand this. But if you are doing parenting now in the 20s, then you might be part of the problem. Why did I say you might be the part of the problem? You notice that the parenting of this time, this 20 and the 80s, are like two worlds apart. They are very different, and the difference is seen and is seen glaring by a lot of people that are raised in the 80s. But let me, before I go further, I want to clear this, that the parenting in the 80s and the parenting in the 20s has their both advantage and disadvantage. They have their own limitations, yes. But let me give you one shocking thing is this: a lot of issues that arises in this 20th 20 parenting is as a result of us parents, the way we are parenting. Welcome to another exciting episode with Mom of Things. On this episode, we'll be talking about parenting in the 80s and parenting in the 20s. What changes? What happens? How do we do it? How do we change things so that we'll understand a whole lot of things better? And if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to give us a subscribe, drop a meaningful comment and a like. Tell us what you feel about the video. You can drop a meaningful comment by expressing your own thought towards the topic, and I will be gladly received, or it will be gladly received. So let's dive into it proper. You see, the parenting of 80s, there is one thing I've come to realize, that yes, when they were parenting in 80s, there were things that our parents really put in place. One, authority. They make sure that you, the child, understand that your parents has authority. I will give you an example by saying this. You see, in the 80s, when your parents says no, they mean no, and they don't give you reason why. They should tell the reason why they are telling you no. Only God knows. Sometimes it goes well with us, sometimes it doesn't, because you are not given the time to hear your own mind. A lot of us can testify to that. Sometimes you are even accused wrongly, but because of authorities that has been placed, and you've been told that no matter what, you have to respect authority. Most times you don't even have time to complain or even hear your own mind, tell them your own aspect of the story, except you are being asked to do so. That is one error with the 80 parents. 80 parents, they structure things in a way that will favor more of the parents, and also bring up the children in a strict way. And the strictness is one of the things that helps some people and also push some people to the wrong path. What am I saying? Like I said earlier, I said a 2080 parenting has their own limitations too, and one of it is ability not to allow you, the child, to hear your minds. That's the simple truth. Another thing I want to bring before I go further is, not one thing, both the 80 parenting and the 20s parenting, what they are doing is that they are parenting children, but the method in which they are parenting is not different. Yes, and the difference is huge, is big. So as I go forward, please get your pen and paper, because it's going to be a very long ride to just tell you a whole lot of things where we are getting it wrong. So another thing is structure. You see, the 80 parents, they structure their parenting. When I mean structure, the structure, this must be like this. They don't bend it because of you are their child, or that is the reason why they even structured it. You don't bend it, everything goes straight. This should be done like this should be done like this, and for every actions or every wrongdoing, there is always a consequences that is attached. If you go in the 80s, you understand, when your father tells you that at 4 p.m. I don't want to see you outside. See, wherever you are, anything you are doing, 4 p.m. must not meet you outside. Reason being that the rules has been set. When you break it, it becomes something. And that is why the children of the 80s understand boundaries so much. They understand it because it was one of the things that were used to raise them up. When your father said, by the time I'm coming, sometimes they don't even need to tell you. Yes, you are not even being told, but because their actions or their body language speaks, you tend to understand it well. That if my father comes and meets me outside by 4 p.m., it becomes a trouble. And you see the child doing everything possible to make sure that he or she is not outside before 4 p.m. And that is why when you go home for 4 p.m., you see every child must have come back from school, every child is doing assignment, but everybody is at home. But can we say that to the 20 parenting? I believe we cannot totally say yes and no to it. Another thing I've come to realize is it. You see, in the 80 parenting, what your parents have is what they give to you. They will not go beyond themselves to go and do the extra. Why am I saying is this? Imagine you are craving for rice and chicken and they are telling you it is eba that is in the house. Let me tell you, they will tell you it is the eba that they can afford that you eat. They don't give a damn about how whether you are craving for another food. What they do is this is what we have and this is what we are able to give you. So you have to make do with what your parents can provide. So also you find out that in schools you don't have a choice because everybody goes to most people go to government school. You cannot say, oh, because you have a friend that is attending a private school, you want to go there. Your dad or your mom should not start looking for money to put you just to make sure that they are able to fulfill your dream. No, it doesn't happen in the 80s like that. What happened is your mates are going to government school, you go along with them. If others can successfully do that, why not you? So you don't have a reason why you should give them. Another thing I've come to realize about the 80s is that discipline is everybody, not just one person. Why am I saying? You understand if you are watching this video that if my child here and I'm not around, another parent has the right to discipline my child before I even come back from where I am going to. And the parents will gladly tell you that your child did this and I'm able to caution the child for what he did. And guess what I will do? I will gladly tell you, thank you for doing that. That is the 80s for you. 80s, there is kind of community parenting where I will see your child doing wrong and I will caution without saying that that child is not my child. It doesn't concern me. No. In the 80s, everybody look out for everybody's child. When I notice your child is doing bad and you are not aware of it, it is my duty for me to tell you as a parent to the fellow parent that your child is acting like this. Please, can you change or can you look into it? One of the things that helped the upbringing in the 80s was there was no social media, there was nothing like influences from external factor because this has to do with you in the community where you are in. The social media then was the community you are living because they are the one that knows what is happening. You, the parents, might not actually know, but they are the one that know and they get to tell you what's really happened. So it is one of the things that really helped the upbringing. Another thing is constituted authority. Yes, they feel that as far you are an elder, you have the authority, like I said, to caution a child, to discipline a child. And what we call respect is one thing that was paramount. No matter whether you are big, whether you are small, as far that person is older than you don't have a choice than to give that person the respect. It is one thing that is being taught in the home that you must respect your elders, irrespective of whether the elder is wrong or is right, but you must obey before you complain. And some of those things are some things that never sat well with a lot of children. They feel oppressed, they feel wrong, they feel victimized, they feel so many things negatively that a lot of things that they could have been able to say or even defend themselves. But because of the way they were being parented, they were never given the chance to do so. I believe us that were parented in the 80s, we can relate to it if you come across this video. And there's another thing is this when you are asked to speak the truth, you speak the truth without beating around the bush. And also, there is another thing, trust, because I can trust my child to you because of the way we've been living. I have no reason to start getting afraid because of anything. I know your person, I know your character. That is how the 80s were being, that's how the 80s were doing parenting. They were strict, they were structures, actions were being taken, boundaries were being set, and they don't go beyond their power to do because they feel you need it. No, if it is not important, you find out that they are not involved. They will tell you this is what we have and this is what we want you to do. You better live with it or you rest. That is it. You have no room for another option. In most cases, I'm not saying in all, but a lot of us that grew up in the 80s can relate to this. So now let's now move to the 20s. Let's start with it. You see, when it comes to respect, let's start with respect. You see, the children of the 80s will respect you. They will respect you, they will not ask you questions. But let's come to the children of this 20. By the time you are telling them, hey, they will ask you questions on it. Why are you telling me not to do it? You have to give me reasons why I should not do it. You see, that is one of the problem we are having because you got to start explaining. You go explain, so that you will not even know. And sometimes because you don't have strength for explanation, you don't even bother doing as a parent. And that is enough for it. You see, this issue of giving, this brings to the issue of verbal information, or how will I put it, where you are able to outspokenness. Yes, you find out that these children, they will tell you that they are outspoken. It is not that they are outspoken, it is because of the things that is involved. And because we parents, we just want, because of the way we are parented in the 80s, we are never given chance to speak our mind. You find out that when you start giving birth to your own in the 20s, you want them to speak their mind. And the process of speaking their mind is not even guided. And that is why an adult will be talking, a child will be telling the adult, you are lying. Instead of telling the adults you are lying, are there no better ways to go about it? Ma, can I speak my mind? Oh, what you just said might not be the truth. But imagine a child telling the age of the mom, the age of the dad, you are lying. That is a lie. That is upbringing and is a wrong upbringing. And it is one of the things that is common with this 20 parenting. Social media is one of the things that also enhanced it. Yes, during the 80s, there was nothing like the social media, but now in the 20s, hey, you do anything, even they will report you, the parents, to the social media. My parents did this. I watched a video on the YouTube where a child called the cops on the parents. Why? Because the parents were exerting discipline on him and he felt uncomfortable about it and he decided to call the cops on them. You can imagine, you won't try that in the 80s. By the time the cops goes, you hear what, you will see what will happen. So you better not even start it. What happened? They were telling him to do some of the things, and he was refusing because it was a sane society. It's a society that listens, and when you call, they will arrive. Not like my own, oh, and he called the cops on the parents. By the time the cops came and they started asking the question, even the parents were fidgeting because they feel that the child will be taken away from them. But thank God and kudos to the cops that came. When they saw that the boy was wrong, they decided to scold him on their own and tell the boy that your parents are doing you well for telling you to do this. They are teaching you morals, they are teaching you good behavior, and you feel that what they are doing is wrong and you call us, you should be the one we should be arresting. You will see how that boy became so calm because what he planned was never what really happened. You see, another thing, society of these days has never favored parenting because they feel the children of the 80s were kind of suppressed and the children of the 20s shouldn't be suppressed. So let's talk about suppression, where we actually suppress so much that it affected us that now that we are doing parenting, we don't want to suppress our children. I believe that is not suppression. I believe that is boundary. And that brings me to this. The children of this generation don't understand what they call boundaries. They don't understand it. Oh, because you, when you were growing up, your parents never allowed you to do some certain things. Now you are having your children, you are telling your child, what I suffered, you will not suffer. So you have the time to do whatsoever you like. Yes, it is good, but with what precaution? Are you there to give parental guidance? And that is why we keep having issues with teenagers, because now we lack parental guidance. Then you see in the 80s, parental guidance is one of the paramount thing in parenting. And that is why 70% of your life, your parents knows. When something happens, your parents can confidently tell the person that I know my child. No, if you are saying he is doing this, maybe he just started it, but the child I gave birth to cannot do this. But can we say that with the children of this generation? It's a capital no. But one good thing that has happened with this parenting of this generation or of these 20s is ability for you to give your child chance to speak up, never suppressing the child. That is a good one. Because with this, we've been learning so many things. Anything that is happening to the child is able to speak up without suppressing. And those that are giving their children a good parental guidance, you find out that they are using it well, not in the other way. Have you seen a child lied on an adult head and say, she did it, I saw it? Meanwhile, the child never saw anything. And the parents will still be there to say, yes, you did it. My child will not say this, which is wrong. You see, in the 80s, when a teacher scold a child, the parents will not go to school to go and ask questions. So then you see the parent of this 20 touch their pikin. Then you will understand what it means or how she went into labor and gave birth to her child, which is a bad one. You find out that even with the discipline, parents will still go meet up teachers, fight them, and also insult them just because your child was corrected. This is parenting of the 20 of these 20s. Let's not talk about the mode of dressing. In the 20th, in the 80s, I mean, you cannot dress anyhow and leave your home. Even if your parent is not around, you will not do it because another parent is there looking at you. But now, if you go out, nobody will even ask you. I mean, your parents will even be the one aiding it. That brings me to this particular one. You see, in the 80s, like I said, parents, people parent your children for you. But now I cannot go and correct my neighbor's child. Why should I do that? So that the parents will come and ask me, did I send you over Sabi? You find out that that is one wrong, one hill in the society, that I cannot see a child doing wrong and I will tell the child, hey, stop doing it, that is wrong, because of the kind of parents we are having. And this is one of the reasons why we are having a whole lot of moral decays in the society. Because even if you see it, you throw away your face. It is not my child. But that is not at all, that was not how it was in the 80s. You see a child misbehaving now, rather for a parent or an adult to say, hey, stop it, the one will just say, it's not my child. If I do it now, they will put me in social media and say that I'm correcting their child or I did wrong to their child. And this is one error that is happening in the 20 parenting that we are not looking at. I wish we could bring back community parenting, where my child will go wrong, another woman will discipline, not to the extreme, but a moderate or light discipline. Oh, why did you do that? When your parents come, I am going to report. And when you are reporting to the parent, it is not time for the parents to start accusing you of accusing their child wrongly. People have seen issues. So, because of that, everybody is being careful. And in the 80s, our parents have time. You see, the mothers that are not going to work are at home looking after their children. But what happened in this 20 generation? Nannies males, family members are the one actually taking care of our children. They are the one looking at the children we gave birth to. So you see the difference. Yes, it has its own advantages. With some of the advantages I might not have listed, but I'm telling you that when you compare the advantages to the disadvantage, you find out that the children of this 20th century or the 20s that they are parenting are not actually being parented well. And like I said earlier, the reason might be you, the parents. Yes, it's coming from you, the parent, not from anyone. If you do a proper discipline, set parental guidance, do proper communication, and not comparing, and not also superimposing, then we'll see. Another thing before I leave, you find out that in the 80s, like I said it in the earlier part of this video, I said they don't go beyond themselves to make you satisfied. But what is happening in this 20th parenting? You find out that if my child tells me this is the school I want to go, whether I have the money, I have the ability, I don't care. I will put my child there, irrespective of whether I have the ability to pay the fees. No, and that is another thing that is not putting pressure on you, the parents. A child will tell the parents, no, I will not eat that food. I want this. And within you, you know you cannot afford it. But because you want to make a statement, you want to prove a point, you go as far as begging for money, begging neighbors, borrowing loans just to feed that particular child. My dear, you are not helping the child. Rather, you are destroying the child. So this is some of the things I have noticed between parenting in the 80s and parenting in the 20s. If you watch this video to this extent and you feel there are more to be added, please drop it in the comment section. It is very, very important. Parents need to learn and parents need to wake up. You find out the rate of crime in the 80s and the rate of crime now is a huge difference because we are neglecting our duty as parents and leaving the duty for people that are not capable of doing such. I hope I've been able to tell you something today. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and also don't forget to drop a meaningful comment. Share this video to a parent that needs it. It might actually help a parent. Seriously, a parent is looking for this video, and that person might be you to share this video to that parent. Have a beautiful day.